Welcome.
Hi,
Welcome, everybody.
is this it? There's only three people. Hi, David.
No, there's about 12, I think, so far. People are going to keep coming in here.
Hello, guys.
Great.
Great evening wherever you are.
Okay. Would anyone like to be a co-host and help me like admit people when they join? If so, raise your hand or say something. Brian.
I can, David.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yep.
All right, cool. So, welcome to the AI working group. Today, I am going to be the facilitator. Christoph is out of town for this week, and we're going to have a lot of fun together. I see Dale and Mark and Thomas and Justin, Miguel, Brian, Maurice, Mark, Dan, Gary, Carlos, Maria, Minaj, Sagar. Welcome, everybody, and Connie. Um, Cool. I'm excited to have you all here. I am going to start by inviting us to take a breath together and settle into the space. We're going to get started at 10:05 with the news. Oh, it's 10:05. Awesome. Well, are there any new people with us here today? Mark Fishburne. Awesome. Welcome. Mark, would you like to introduce yourself very quickly?
Yes, I'm a long-term network and cybersecurity person. I have my own consulting company, and I've become very interested in the topic, and I'm here to see how I can convert my existing AI into something, more up to date, I would say. And I've been talking to Bryan, who invited me to this call. I'm been involved with EXO for about 4 or 5 years.
Awesome. Cool. So you're a networking and cybersecurity person. You have your own consulting company. You're interested in AI and you want to convert your existing AI into something more up to date. And you've been talking to Brian, who invited you to join.
Absolutely. Thank you for recreating me.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, next week we're gonna have a an AI consultant joining, Patrick Fang, and he's going to be taking suggestions from the audience and then building uh, automation flows using N8N as like an example, which could potentially be what you're asking for. One second, my computer's about to die. Uh, my charter's not in the room, but let's start with some news. Does anyone from the group have exciting news to share from the past week?
Yeah. Uh, yes, I've been toying around with Lindy. I appreciated your presentation last week of N8N. I mean, that was really fantastic, man. You did a great job in that presentation.
Thank
However,
you.
what I find with N8N, it is low code as opposed to Lindy being no code. And, because I'm not a coder, I kind of got stuck on APIs. I find Lindy a little more sympathetic to one in my category. Like Mark, I've been around EXO about 5 years. And Mark, hopefully you start attending the mastermind uh, uh, call on Wednesday, which is a great compliment to this. And we have to kind of bring these two things together because Kent gives a lot of good information, and Kent's way out there, Kent Langley, as far as all this stuff. So yes, uh,
Cool.
so
Thank
that's
you.
what I've been doing, and
Yeah, that's
also
awesome. What can you give me like what's one thing that you use the tool to build or create, or like what's the idea you're exploring?
okay, well, lead generation. Um, it's also been a tool that we've developed a tool to answer all of the spam I get. Well, all of the, I don't like to call them all spam, but the thing is, we get all these emails, and some of them we want to get to at some point in time, but it is answering a lot of these emails. Also, we're looking at connecting it to LinkedIn, and as people agree to connect on LinkedIn, we like to follow up with inviting them to look at the uh, EXO model, which, where AI is definitely a part of EXO, algorithms and all that. So, also, I've been dealing with you.com a little more over the weekend and started taking their master course. Now, the creators of you.com, they are supposedly the um creators of prompt engineering tool uh, terminology. Dr. Socher, is that his name? All right. So that's where I am.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Scotton. I'd like to share this little slide here. This was the 4 bullet points that Shabir compiled for us for the news. And then maybe, I don't know if any of you have heard about these things. This is the Exponential AI News Capsule from April 21st to April 27th. What you need to know. Deep Research Lite debuts with the O4 mini model with free tier upgraded with expanded quotas. OpenAI announces an upcoming open source model with a June launch and adds image generation to its API. Perplexity releases a new iOS assistant outperforming Siri in early tests, and Grok introduces advanced vision capabilities for users. Has anybody tried or know anything about these 4 bullet points?
I just find that deep research is amazing stuff. You're trying to get ready for a client meeting, you can get all your stuff really quick, really fast. Um, and
Can you give an
what
example, Brian? What's the workflow?
typically what will happen is I have a client meeting, I upload, do a deep research on it. I then upload an overview of the things that I'm doing, and I say, how do these match with what that client is doing? And so instead of 4 hours prep for a meeting, I've got about 30 minutes prep. Truly,
Cool.
truly amazing.
Oh, great.
So the deep research, you're like giving it like the URL of your client's website, or what's it researching?
So typically it's the client comes with a briefing. You're saying, look, find ways that I can find the solution to this, what's existing in the marketplace. And it looks for all those things and then comes back and says, how are we unique and different than that? So, it's just, what you might have spent, a couple hours searching around the internet, you just do in minutes.
Cool.
Okay, but mm,
That's amazing. Yeah. I've used the deep research on ChatGPT a little bit. Looks like maybe Miguel, are you raising your hand?
yes, I've been using deep research, but deep research takes it here says deep research light, and I don't know if there's a light, maybe because it's in the mini model, but if you use deep research, it would take a long time to give you the answers, but it's a very profound answer, no, with several sources. I don't know if there's I haven't used it inside Mini, O4 Mini. And if it's in O4 Mini, it could be faster. Right? That's what I don't know. That's the question to Bryan or to someone. If it's faster, deep research in O4 Mini, or is the same?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Carlos.
O4 Mini as compared to O4, yeah, they're smaller models, right? So they're designed to be faster. Um, yeah, I'm still confused in terms of because when you use something like deep research within say OpenAI's ChatGPT, you have the option to choose the model, right? So you can do the 4.0 model or 4.5 model or the O models, which are the reasoning models, um, in combination with the deep research engine, which is a search engine. So I've not really gotten a sense of whether you should use a reasoning model or the regular LLM as to what's
That
better.
that's happened to me
Um,
also.
I use regular LLMs when I need to handle broad topics, and I use the reasoning model when I need to understand the logic behind a something complicated. And so it's not clear to me which is better, whether you should use a reasoning model or with the deep research or not, right? I tend to use the regular model because you just want you want to get a broad capture of what's out there and then from there I would use the reasoning model. But that's
Yeah,
my preference.
that
Yes, I
makes
think
sense.
that right now something is like if you're in the regular model, sometimes it will reason or it will search for many. If you add something complicated, even though you don't select deep search or search, it could look for it by their own. It's like a new approach. I think that everybody's doing that. It will try to do whatever is needed. Not if you select deep search or search. So if the AI need it, it will do it. But sometimes what's happened to me at the end, it is telling me try O3 is if you think this is if you need more uh a better result, use O3, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, the problem with the reasoning models is that they're very narrow. So when you apply them to the search engine, the deep research is kind of seems to be in conflict because a lot of times you don't want to say everything. I mean, there are two ways to use deep research that I can think of. One is you want to drill down deeply into a subject. So you specifically know what you're looking for, and you're using the search engine to find those things and to bring out the details. Like, for example, I have this idea, but I want to see who else has, what are the references to this idea? So I get deep research works pretty well. It's very narrow. But when it comes to this kind of thing where you're generating ideas and you're doing something broad, then it doesn't do too well unless you specify exactly what are the different yeah, you have to explicitly say what to look for.
If it,
Cool. That makes sense. I'm going to, well, I'll let Brian chime in here, and then I'm gonna move on to the next topic.
if anyone's interested, I put in a link to a test of 4 different deep search models on an innovation challenge, which is basically an innovation challenge with defined creativity, defined constraints. And what you'll see is quite a big difference in terms of the results with DeepSeek, the best of the group. And you can just look at that if it's interesting for you.
Oh yeah,
Cool.
speaking about DeepSeek, one and their search, their deep research. DeepSeek originates from being a like some sort of financial hedge funds or something like that, right? So what I found interesting, if you're asking about financial questions, DeepSeek search engine is probably a go-to.
All right, awesome. Thank you everybody for the discussion about DeepSeek and the different uses and about different types of models and approaches to using AI. Right now, I want to shift conversation slightly to what we're going to be doing next week so that we can start to mentally prepare for it and also potentially invite more people in to join next week and continue growing our community. So just really quick, like our AI working group MTP is building a future where all have access to meaningful, purpose-driven, and rewarding work. And under that MTP, we have four true norths. One of them is community growth and engagement, which is about building a thriving, inclusive AI community that scales through authentic connection. Collaboration and high value content, which means turning AI expertise into real world impact. Three, sustainability and revenue generation, which means creating a regenerative system that funds growth, rewards contribution, and expands our reach. And four is the AI leadership and organizational structure, building a scalable open source model that others can replicate globally. And with that in mind, I want to introduce the topic of next week's call, which is titled From Free Builds to 12K in 7 Weeks. It's a live automation strategy session with Patrick Fang. And so he's going to be doing live N8N automation builds, solving real use cases from our group, and also sharing his story of how he went from doing a free build for a friend to making 12K in 7 weeks. So this ties into our true norths because we are engaging with the community and helping each other grow by building solutions for each other directly in the meeting. It's collaboration and high value content because we're going to be discussing solutions, working together, and also the meeting will be recorded and can be shared, and it's high value content, kind of showing behind the scenes of how you can actually deliver a solution, an automation solution for businesses. Three, sustainability and revenue generation. If we're able to build solutions that generate revenue, that's going to enrich everyone in the community as we rise together. Four, AI leadership and organizational structure. We're going to be touching more on that in a little bit. But we're looking to build a scalable open source model that others can replicate globally. So, each week having different sessions. But let me scratch that because we're going to go deeper into that. So, what we're going to be doing next week, it says, what if your AI skills were more than just potential? What if they were paychecks, prototypes, and proof that you're ready to solve real world problems today? So next week, we're going to meet Patrick Fang. He's an automation consultant, builder, and a signal in the noise. In just 7 weeks, he turned his skills into 12K of revenue by doing what most people avoid, which is solving real business problems, listening harder than he pitched, building first, and monetizing second. So he's going to show us exactly how he did that, so we can be inspired and maybe make some money or introduce other people to this method. So what you'll experience is live build walkthroughs. Patrick will pick real problems from the attendees and build N8N automations in real time. He's going to be providing sales and strategy insights on why AI doesn't sell, but outcomes do. He's going to be sharing repeatable frameworks, what worked and what didn't, when turning ideas into income, and have a confidence transmission that proof that you can do this too. So this is for freelancers and consultants tired of learning mode, builders looking to monetize their AI knowledge, entrepreneurs ready to automate real bottlenecks, and anyone who wants to move from idea to income. So if you want your problems solved live, we're going to be sharing some of those problems in this call. And then if you join next week, then you could potentially have your solution built out live. And then we have this registration link here at the bottom of this little article. So if you are connected with freelancers and consultants or entrepreneurs, coaches, other people that you think would be interested in joining this, you can share either this link with them or the registration link
David,
directly.
can you tell us the time and the day of this meeting?
Oh, this is the AI working group meeting. So
Oh, this
10
is
a.m. Central.
this is just our regular meeting. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm just announcing who the presenter is going to be next week.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. And additionally, if you have an idea for a session you would like to lead here, or if you know somebody who could lead a session like this as well, keep that in mind as we're growing this community. We're looking for more facilitators, more leaders, more coaches, more entrepreneurs to join our community so we can keep growing. And that provides a nice segue into saying that like at the end of May, like starting June, I'm not going to be able to attend any AI working group meetings. So we need to get people to volunteer to kind of own those 3 summer months if we want to keep going forward. Otherwise, the meeting could just, fall away. So, yeah, so we're bringing people in. So next week is an opportunity to grow the community, to deliver high value content, to potentially start generating revenue for some of the members, and
Sounds
also
good.
to grow the leadership and organizational structure.
Yeah, great get, David. Really looks good. Looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, cool. So with that said, I would
Just,
the plan now is to go into breakout rooms. Ben Clayton raised his hand. Yeah, Ben, go ahead.
right, sure. Hi, everyone. Do you have the schedule? Like we had a spreadsheet for a while we were using. I don't know if it was public to everyone for which like each week who is hosting and
Yeah, that's right here.
okay, cool. So could that be something to be shared so that we can like for those of us that could step up and host one of these weeks that you're gone? Go ahead.
Yeah, great idea.
Now.
Yeah, so I put a link in the chat.
Okay.
Alex Todd has raised his hand. Wait, Alex, before you speak, let me just respond a little bit more directly to Ben. So I put a link in the chat to the spreadsheet that's right here. So I marked in red the days that I will be gone. Also, this is Memorial Day. I don't know if we're going to have a meeting that day. Um, but yeah, so we'll have we're gonna return. I don't know. Should we just do it like right now, Ben? Do you think?
Well, at least extend the invitation. Like I'm going to see right now on my calendar which one of these days in June, July, etc., that you're gone, that I could do, kind of basically host. And also, just for those of you that haven't done that before, or don't know kind of behind the scenes, there's a lot that's been created in order to support folks for hosting. So it's actually not as hard as it may seem. Because basically we follow a template. We have a typical. I mean, that we follow a typical type of agenda, and we'll work to schedule folks to actually present to. Like we'll have next week. It also could be an opportunity for any of you that have been working on something you want to present yourself. Like there's opportunities for that too. You see, there's topics 1 and 2 at rows 6 and 7, as David's pointing out. So that could be, if you wanted to do a presentation of what you're working on, your tool, your company, things that you've been discovering. Maybe like I'm going to go to Web Summit most likely in Vancouver end of next month, end of May. So I might do a presentation on what I learned there. I went to the World Summit AI 2 weeks ago. I could present on that. So if there's something that you guys, obviously you're doing a lot of deep dives here. So this has always been great, including the first 15 minutes of this call. Could be one of those topics that you guys present on one of these dates. So David, if it's okay, to see your hand raised.
Yeah, Ben. So one thing, so that totally validate everything you're saying. But also like zooming out a little bit, you don't even if you sign up for a week, you don't even have to be the presenter. You don't even have to be the facilitator. What we need is like one person to just like own this week. And what that means is like making sure there is an agenda and making sure there is somebody to lead the meeting. So there's like kind of two parts. There's like the person that's going to just be like making sure the meeting happens. And then there's like that person can make sure that there is a presenter or a topic or, some weeks that you don't even need a presenter. So if you have like, I don't know, just you, we're looking for people to just take ownership over each of these weeks. And then
Cool.
all the details can be figured out much closer. And you'll also have support in finding those topics and those presenters.
Presumably, you'll make that person the host of the Zoom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the way that we have the Zoom set up is it's behind a tiny, tiny link. And then so depending on who is leading that week, we put their registration page or their Zoom link behind the tiny link. So like today, anyone that clicked, it went to the registration page for this meeting. So then the next time people click on the same link, it'll go to the registration page for next week's meeting, which I've shown here is like updated for the special workshop edition. Alex Todd,
Yeah,
thank you
hi
for your
guys.
patience.
No problem. Just a little procedural thing. I typically like to save the transcripts from these calls. And historically, I've been able to do that by basically um, uh, from the you know the captions, basically having the running captions, and then I can save the transcript, and then I can summarize that and put it into my notes. I noticed that for the first time in this meeting, I can neither save it nor copy it. Is there any reason
Try
for that?
now.
Try, should I, well, there's nothing's changed on the screen unless
Oh, okay.
uh,
I just clicked transcript on my side. So I don't know if that changed anything.
well, nothing dynamically. Maybe I have to reload or something. I'm not sure. Looks like yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out and ask if there's a particular reason for that, but I would certainly appreciate it if you could re-enable that for future meetings.
It's
Thank
working.
you.
It's working now.
Is it now?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
You have to click on transcript. I just see it now.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. So that all makes sense. And I want to, yeah, so now we know kind of what we're looking to do is fill those weeks. Um, I mean, and also like the ones before it, but specifically these ones. But yeah, let's put a pause on that for now and go into breakout rooms. So just based on what we've discussed so far, these are going to be 5-minute breakout rooms. And so here are the prompts. What's one way that you're hoping to apply or monetize AI in the next 90 days? Have you connected with anyone through the collaboration directory yet? So these are two questions um, that can help us to put together these topics and flows for these summer months. Because if you have a way that you have monetized AI or applied AI, or you're hoping to, those are two great topics to bring to a call. Also connecting with someone through the collaboration directory because it's great when these sessions have at least two like co-hosts that are working together. So you connect with someone through the collaboration directory, explore something with them, and then you can bring that to the meeting and lead it together. So does that make sense? Yeah. Any questions before we go into breakout rooms? You can also discuss the news. You can also introduce yourselves, but those are prompts that I put in the chat. All right, let's give this a try. Hi, Bill.
Hey.
Bill, how are you?
I'm well. I'm truly into I have AI all day, every day now.
Wow.
Yeah, so
What's that like?
well, it's kind of it's good. It's well, and staying up to date is the biggest challenge, and so it's I have to. I was good at that when I was much younger, but as you get older, it's harder to stay up to date. But I tell my business partners and my clients, I'm like the world's oldest millennial. Just, so it's they're always shocked that I'm so into this at the level that I'm into it. But anyways, yeah, it's going well. I got I think I mentioned to you in one of our meetings, not the core team meeting, but got our first contract, so that was good. And then so we're all that.
Did you get paid?
Yeah.
Did money went to your bank account?
Yeah. That's all.
Nice.
Yeah, so we basically have 3 months, a fee of a monthly fee for 3 months to sort of hold their hands as they move forward into AI, and we have a pipeline of four other companies. So we're just going to finish this first one and then move on to the next one. So it's just it's sort of a big transition step for Catalyst AI, but it all came about from that work that I had done on AI readiness assessment, and so that. And then I presented that to the 13 CEOs at a meeting, and then they've gradually have well, one right away grabbed onto us, and so it's a transportation logistics company. So there's lots of opportunities there. So that's who we're starting with this week, and then there's three more that are saying that they're going to do it as well. So it's cool. It's nice to sort of so the hardest part now is just staying up to date, so we can basically it's like in the past when a lot of times when you work, you're only a few days ahead of your clients or the people that you're working with or whatever, and so now so it's basically trying to maximize being ahead, optimize the being ahead a lot more. So half of my day is working and the other half is learning, and it's fun. Like this weekend, I actually well, I produced another offering for creating on-premise AI solutions, because a lot of enterprises are very nervous about the privacy and security of data and all of that. So you pretty much have to build AI solutions. So basically taking like helping them bulk up on the hardware required to actually run a large language model and do the inferencing and all that on site. So it's not a cheap thing. It's everyone thinks like if we're using large language models that are out there publicly, then all the money's been spent already for by the big companies producing that. But if you want to do things on premise, then you have to find cheaper ways to do it. And so but still minimum cost for doing for an enterprise, it can be a pretty significant effort, because you have to buy for GPUs, you do need like an NVIDIA A100, sort of thing, or you can get two sort of RTX 495s or something like that. But even that kind of platform is still a $25,000 to $35,000 hit to actually build the hardware that you need to actually do the things that we're all used to in ChatGPT, but to do it all internally and have it all powered internally. And so I also had to look at how to download open source large language models and implement those large language models on-premise software and hardware as well. So it just so I did a couple of experiments, and even with my own hardware here, and it's pretty slow when you do things on premise, unless you've got the really good, like the investment in significant GPUs, and you don't have to buy the GPUs. You have to buy computers that are designed for those type of GPUs as well. So it's just so it gets to be, the price starts to escalate a little bit. But I have to admit, the biggest comment that we got from enterprises is that they're all very nervous about using the cloud-based LLMs, and they definitely want sort of this. They don't mind playing with AI initially, using that type of approach, but from the point of view of integrating AI into their enterprises, a lot of them do want it on premise or in a highly secure cloud environment.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Thanks
so
for
it's been a fun,
sharing that.
yeah, it's been a fun experience.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I definitely want to learn more about that. I do want to see if Connie is there. Connie? Or maybe she's just listening. Okay, cool. Bill, what I'm curious about is, um, I have two questions. The first one is, what made the CEO different from the other one, the one that ended up like reaching out to you and going through with it? What would you say like made that person or that company different?
I think it was I think for most of them it was just a level of we gave them demos that were very specific, very focused on the enterprise, and even though it was kind of funny, we did talk a lot of sort of background, like, the typical presentation around enterprise AI and all that kind of stuff. But it wasn't until I actually did the N8N demo on we created a project coordinator AI agent, and I did a demo on that, which it's a short version of the one I gave for the group, a longer version of the one that I gave for the group here about 3 weeks ago, and then. And it was, and the feedback from not just my business partner, but then the couple of mentors that we have that were in the room, they all said they were shocked that the CEOs just loved that. They loved seeing building an AI agent that you didn't have to tell it what to do. You just described, here's the goals, and here's the tools you can use, and the agent figures out how to actually coordinate all the activities as a project coordinator, between project manager and resources and PMO and all that kind of stuff. So but we just showed them, it's really just N8N features of N8N that sort of make it very visual, and they sort of see everything moving through the agent and all that kind of stuff. And then surprisingly, that excited the CEOs. It's a lot. None of us thought that they would be excited about seeing a demo. But I think when we basically took a real world agent that they would have in their company, real world role that they have in their company, turned it into an agent, and then basically showed it running. That kind of got them excited. And then we got past just sort of creating a GPT and showing using the GPT. We did do one demo with 3 GPTs, and then had the CEO and the CFO and the chief marketing officer all sort of working together on a problem. So that was that's something we're going to build into our assessment tool as well. Is that capability to have multiple personas working on the problem, so multiple agents basically, working together on one problem. So that was exciting for them, and then we basically did a AI org chart, which we said, here's your current org chart, here's the next phase org chart where there's going to be AI agents supporting various roles that you have. And then the last piece we did was we took the here's the organization of the future, where we've replaced some of the roles with AI agents, and not with like fully with AI agents, and basically showed this is what the organization of the future will look like in the near future, for that matter.
Whoa. Awesome. So great. So welcome back, everybody. I hope you had some interesting conversations about applying or monetizing AI, or potentially connecting with collaborators and things like that. I was talking with Bill Craig here, who has been doing some really interesting work. He presented to this group a few weeks back about N8N, and then did an iterated version of that presentation to 13 CEOs. And then one of the CEOs hired him and his company to kind of walk them step by step through integrating AI into their company. And he did some presentations where he showed their current org chart and then a new org chart with some of the roles replaced with AI, and then did a demo where he built a project coordinator AI, which is a specific role that these companies have, and then showed how N8N can do an automated version of the role. So I'm
Yep.
wondering,
The good news is that so we've got one signed customer now, and then we've got 3 more in the pipeline that want to start. So it's finally happening. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Was anybody else, or I want to hear from everybody, like maybe we can go like room by room, at least share a little bit from each room so we can contribute it to the collective consciousness here. How about starting with Justin Smith?
Hey, um, we just did some introductions at first, and then Maurice shared some of his issues with trying to create an animation for one of his projects. And maybe he wants to ask the rest of the group because we didn't have any solutions for him.
Yeah, Maurice, go ahead. You're live. With
I was on mute there. Yeah, hopefully somebody can help out. I had a suggestion last week to use Kling AI to do a simple animation, and it did a better job. I had tried 2 or 3 others earlier to simulate a double boiler with a on a stove with a flame burner under it, and start out with low boiling and then go up to higher boiling, and a brown liquid in the upper chamber. And this did a better job on the first prompt than 2 or 3 others that I had tried with multiple times. But what it didn't have was showing the bubbling in the water. It was just kind of swirling a little bit. And I wanted it to increase as the flame increased, to increase the bubbling, and also add some thermometers to show the temperature stays constant in the steam and in the upper pot, which it didn't do. But I tried to edit. There's an edit option, but when I try to edit it to get the tweaks that I wanted, it would start over. I did that 3 more times, and every time it would start from scratch and end up with a worse result than the first one I got. So I was wondering if anyone had experience with that and had suggestions on how I could just iterate one or some other idea on how to get this simulation of a double boiler. A 5 or 10 second video of it is all I need to help describe the sodium boiling for my thermal storage and Stirling engine solar power system.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Greg has something to say. I'd also anybody who has like used Kling or worked with animations can just raise their hand right now, and I'll note your name down.
I've used Kling, and my suggestion is number one, make sure you're using 2.0 version of it. It's far better than their previous version. It's the newest version.
Yeah, I
so
think I had the 1.6.
yeah, give it a shot in 2.0. There's a massive difference. It's going to do a lot better. And then my other
You have to
suggestion,
sign up for a year of it to use 2.
yeah, you do. I just paid for the year, the cheapest option there. I don't remember how much it was off the top of my head, but it's certainly far more capable. So, depending on what your ROI looks like, could be worth it. And then you can also kind of just transcribe exactly what you just said to us on this call with what you're looking to do. And then, load that into something like ChatGPT and ask it to write a prompt for you for a video generating AI looking to achieve what you were looking to do. And it might, have some ability to write it in a way that's like better structured for the AI generating tool Kling. So that's my 2 suggestions.
Yeah, sounds good, Greg. Thank you.
Well,
All right, cool. Thank you. Let's go on to Mark Hatch. Mark Hatch, any thoughts to share from that breakout session, or what'd you guys talk
chatted
about?
a little bit about a project I'm working on. I used O3 to do some data cleaning, and it worked really well. I didn't have to use any Python code at all. It created everything. So I've got a client who I'm trying to get interested in AI, and this is kind of my getting them half pregnant approach. What's your current problem? And their current problem was we have 40 spreadsheets. Every year we have to combine them into a report that goes out to our customers, and the data is not the same in all of the spreadsheets. So I had them give me 3 or 4 of them. Let me see what I can do. And I was very impressed with O3. Like the thing that I liked the most was, I told it to use internal, like use the information about trade codes inside of the system to be able to figure out the trade codes that don't make sense. And like somebody had put in farming and cotton farming and rice farming, and this was a construction database, and it identified those. It went from 7,000 records to 3,000 records, and from 3,000 records there were 400 that had the wrong trade codes. It solved 300 of those, and then I said, okay, for the last 100, use the company's name, go on their website, and find the NIC code that matches, and went and finished it. So this combination of using the web, using internal code, it was very nice. So that's what we talked about.
Okay, Mark, to clean, I use Power AI. Yes, is in Excel is, I think it's Power Query. Sorry.
But can you tell it to go on the web and find an NIC code that maps?
No,
Yeah.
no. But to clean is very good.
Yeah.
Okay, Power
Cool.
Query. You can add the files, and it replicates that. So I use it a lot.
Yeah, good.
Mark, can I ask a clarifying question really quick? So, was this for, like, what was the economics behind this project? Was this for a consultant gig or for a business or what?
Large insurance company, small division of it, and they do this report on an annual basis, and it takes them, they estimated 80 to 120 hours of cleaning every year. And I just pulled the data in and said, dedupe, give me only the current year. It got rid of 4,000 records in 10 seconds. And
Nice.
then I said, sort by name, did it in 3 seconds. And then I said, identify the NIC codes that don't fit within these trade groups, and identified 300 in, like 15 or 20 seconds. So like literally now I've got a thing that runs in the background for 5 or 6 minutes, and it cleans the entire file.
That's amazing. And are you an employee of this company?
No.
Oh, okay. Are you a consultant working for
I'm a
this
consultant.
company?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And then
Cool.
my objective is to then like show them value and say, you should be using this constantly, like for all kinds of different things, right? I mean, this is actually a kind of not the best use, but it's worthwhile. So I want to, okay, now let's train you on how to use GPTs. Now let's train you how to use assistants. Now let's get you into a RAG model inside of an Azure container so that your safety folks are, have got this all sorted out. So I'm essentially trying to like start with a useful tool that they can understand that saves them thousands and thousands of dollars, and then get them engaged on the, kind of an AI maturity path.
Wow. As you're talking, I'm getting chills.
Well,
That's sure.
I'm sure there's lots of other ways, but this one's working at the moment.
That's so amazing. Connie has raised her hand. Connie, hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, data cleansing for companies is big opportunities there. I know just in doing data cleansing when I was migrating systems over to SAP, it took like a whole year and quite a bit of effort from different people. So if you find a niche in doing that, there's definitely opportunities there, kind of following with any type of ERP migration companies so that you can streamline the data cleansing part.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Connie. I want to hear from Gary Boomer. What did you guys talk about in your breakout?
Well, we talked a lot about different models, and Carlos provided a lot of insight on those models and kind of the theory behind them. I guess from the economic side, I provided an example of where we're trying to automate internally our strategic planning and visioning process, and we're using STS to help us with that. We've got several other projects going with the Boomer Knowledge Network. I won't get into that one, but those were primarily the conversations that we had.
Okay, great. I'm wondering, do you have like a problem or bottleneck or use case in mind that could be a good one to do a live build with N8N next week?
Well, we're working internally with HubSpot, Asana, and Box, and I need to get the specifics of what that might be, but that's one of the integrations that we're working with that I think N8N might help us speed up some of those processes.
Okay, awesome. Great. I want to hear from Dale. Dale, what did you guys talk about? Any use cases or applications or monetizations came out?
You
I can't hear you right now, Dale.
Sorry. Yeah, I was in the group with Justin and Maury, but I wanted to mention that Justin in our group told about an application he used for ChatGPT for creating visuals for his poetry that was very powerful and impactful for him. So that was a big success and a great application, I thought. So we talked about that in our group too.
So, yeah, I love that. That's something I've done as well, creating visuals for poetry.
I wasn't
Amazing.
aware that ChatGPT did such a good job of it, though. That wouldn't have been my initial go-to for working with visuals. So that was
I personally use ChatGPT for everything. I hardly use any other tools besides ChatGPT and Suno. Mark Fishburne. Mark, welcome. How was your conversation? What can you bring back to us?
We delved into our joint interests in cybersecurity, but and I'll let Greg speak as well. But really, we started to talk about what my work with O3 on what it came up with the term of proactive expert guided AI, which I've been writing in C sharp. And it's pretty interesting. And in terms of the mission of it, I do have my next article is coming out in the summer on this software, and that software tells you what to do, but like many systems, it doesn't do it for you, and so it links up with my virtual CISO service to actually implement what the system what my software recommends and measures.
Okay, cool. Amazing. Greg Mullen.
Yeah, it was Mark and I having a discussion, and like he mentioned, we had some introductions in the beginning and little background, conversation about our backgrounds, and talked a little bit about using AI to write code and some of the challenges that businesses in very high compliant with high compliant standards might have when it comes to using AI in terms of data governance, especially, and how they might want to run AI systems on their own hardware, and how that presents unique challenges as well.
Yeah, that's Bill Craig also talked about that.
Yeah. Just as an added thing, I'm working with the Cloud Security Alliance, which has got a lot of, doing a lot of work in cybersecurity, specifically in zero trust, and a lot of work on resilience and conformance and all of the other topics throughout the organization. So it's very relevant. And they have
Thank
an
you.
AI chapter too.
Alex Todd. I'd love to hear from you about AI applications, monetizations, any contract work or anything that came up in that call, in the breakout.
There were a number of conversations. We were with Bryan and Miguel and Thomas. A lot of the conversation had to do with translation and helping students learn a foreign language and using a transcript in ChatGPT to detect errors in how the students who were language learners were responding and help them correct those things. But then conversation also evolved to Bryan was talking about his tool, a very powerful tool for ideating for businesses, and then I kind of chimed in and asked people whether they're using ChatGPT tasks. And because it occurred to me that it could be something that would be useful for both those applications. I use it very extensively for all my to-dos and daily stuff, and even for some simulations. And so then Bryan suggested that maybe I could, because he hasn't used it, hasn't really understood it very well, that maybe there's other people on this call that would like to learn more about how I use the tasks functionality, which I find very powerful and very smart. So I'm happy to do that.
Cool.
Have they launched a mobile task version yet? Like, can I get it on my?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, it's in the app. But now what they've done is that I believe that the latest change is that it's embedded in O3 and maybe O4 Mini as well.
fantastic.
So it's no longer a separate function per se, from what I understand.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I'd love to hear
Awesome.
how you're using tasks.
I mean, for me, I'm one person to be quite interested. Are there other people that'd be interested?
Yeah.
You gotta go.
Okay, happy to do it, guys. Just schedule me in.
Yeah, let's do it. That sounds great. Thank you, Alex. Miguel, what are you bringing back from the breakout session?
Oh, I was with Todd. I was, and I'm really interested in the task because I've been using ChatGPT extensively and I never use tasks. So it seems that it's a very good tool. I'm just looking at it, and so I just waiting for that to I'm waiting for Todd for him to explain how he uses it.
All right, cool, awesome. Brian Cassidy, I mean, I know you were also in that conversation, but just giving everyone an opportunity to share what you're bringing back if anything hasn't been mentioned.
I think it was all covered.
All right, cool. Dr. Thomas Scotton.
Talked about Lindley and how, Lindley is very easy to create agents without using code. So I've been able to create a few agents. Well, one was lead generation, one was answering my emails. So
Cool.
it's
Thank
interesting.
you. Yeah, thank you, Thomas Scotton. Um, and then the rest of the people don't have their cameras on, so I will let you like raise your hand or just unmute yourself if you would like to share. Bill Craig, Sagar, Connie, Maria, P. Flower, Daryl Ritchie.
You covered all of mine earlier.
Yeah, I think we're just doing introductions. David, with I'm sorry, I forgot who I was meeting with. I have computer problems here, so I was on the cell phone and the laptop, but we were just doing introductions. Thank you.
All right, cool. How about Maria, Siacola, P. Flower?
I
Yeah,
I
Maria.
text on the chat. Mark covered everything, so I'm good. Thank you.
All right, awesome. P Flower. I think you just joined P Flower. Would you like to just say hello and give a brief intro? All right, cool. Daryl Ritchie, I think you also joined recently. You wanted to chime in and say hello.
Hey all. No, yeah, I was here late. Just had issues with getting the link. So I found it. So I put a post in a WhatsApp group, but I have it. So we're good to go. That's it. Sounds like it was a good meeting. Sorry I missed it.
Cool, yeah, no problem. All right, beautiful. So we are at the top of the hour. We have been going 90 minutes, so I am going to assume that's what we're good to go here. So what I want to do now is probably do, okay, so really quickly, I want to give a GPT of the week. So the GPT that I've been using is called SkyStack Organic Copy Creator. So I will share the link there, and I'll also share my screen for like super short demo. So sharing here. All right, so honestly, this is like a random GPT that I found on Facebook. Someone shared that they like wrote a book with a bunch of organic copy rules and then put it into the GPT. And so that's what I used to create like the registration page um, and for this week and also for last week. So I want to say like here are
David,
the
before you go into this, were you able to verify the security of this system?
this is ChatGPT. So as
Okay,
far as I know, all the security is baked into ChatGPT. Like the person that creates the custom GPT doesn't have access to the chats or anything like that.
okay, good.
So I'll say like here are the notes from the AI working group meeting, create engaging copy to share on LinkedIn. So it says big moves at Catalyst AI. Last week, one contract. Today, 4 companies in the pipeline. What changed? We stopped talking about AI and showed it in action. During a meeting with 13 CEOs, we demoed a project coordinator AI agent built with N8N that could autonomously organize, manage, and coordinate projects across departments without micromanagement. Instead of giving AI orders, we handed it goals and let it figure out the path. Real world magic. The impact transportation logistics company signed immediately. 3 more lining up. Catalyst AI's biggest transition to date underway. The future of enterprise isn't just using AI, it's reorganizing around it. We even mapped out phase 2 org charts, human leadership and AI agents seamlessly running operations. Beyond that, we're now helping companies bring AI on premises to solve privacy and security concerns, building internal systems with 25K to 35K of custom hardware. Yes, GPUs from NVIDIA. Half the day is working, half the day is learning, always a few steps ahead. That's the rhythm of companies serious about AI maturity. Meanwhile, across the team, Maurice and Greg are pushing boundaries with Kling AI animation. Double boilers never look so good. Mark Hatch turned 120 hours of spreadsheet cleaning into 10 seconds with O3. Connie sees gold in data cleansing for ERP migrations. Gary and Carlos dove deep into strategic AI visioning. Mark Fishburne is prepping a summer article on AI-guided cybersecurity. Alex, Bryan, Miguel, Thomas leveling up ChatGPT's tasks feature into a daily driver for work streams. Bottom line, AI isn't just another tool. It's the next org chart. It's the next infrastructure. It's the next competitive advantage. And it's happening faster than anyone thought. If you're not already working a few days ahead of your clients, you're already behind. Would you like a few more variations depending on tone, like one that's a little more celebratory or another that's super tactical and insider focused? So that was pretty nice. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I have a question. How is
Yeah.
the information getting into ChatGPT? Is you funnel are recording it or you have it in chat?
This is based on my notes. So most of it is about what Bill Craig just shared with me during the
Oh,
breakout
okay.
session.
So what you typed down?
Yeah. I just copy pasted it here. So
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I'm sorry. Thanks.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't like listening to the call, although we have the whole transcript that we could use. But so
Yeah,
yeah, so
I wonder if, I mean, yeah, there's a chat interface for ChatGPT. I wonder if you just turn it on and just say, listen to the conversation and just take down notes.
yeah. Great. So yeah, I put the link to this GPT in the chat. So kind of my thinking was based on the ideas for uh that you discussed creating like copy that we could potentially use for the registration page for that week. So like imagine so I guess the next step would be like write copy for the Zoom registration page where Bill Craig will be going into the details of his work, something like that. So then the next step here would be to like choose the date that he's going to be presenting, create the registration page, and we can go from there. Alex, Todd, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that I used it to review one of the white papers I recently wrote. and it went through a detailed analysis and recommendations. So yeah, it can be used for a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm. You mean ChatGPT more broadly, right?
No, this particular custom
Oh,
GPT, I
this
usually,
one.
yeah, just to see, because ChatGPT wrote the white papers, so I figured let's see what what value add this particular custom GPT adds.
Nice. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's always like, I mean, there's infinite things you can do. It's just like moving information around and reshaping it, transforming it. Um, awesome. So I'm just gonna keep moving forward with something else I wanted to show. So I just put this link I created. So we have the AI Working Group Collaboration Advisor, which has access to a spreadsheet that many of you filled out with information about your projects. And then I asked it to help me create a detailed map of everyone in the AI Working Group Collaboration Directory and the message doc email I can send them like a grand orchestra of innovation. And so it broke it down into conductors, strategic leaders, soloists, technological maestros, percussionists. So I'd use these metaphors for like engineers, developers, and innovators. Percussionists are the project managers and product owners. String section are the educators, coaches, and AI for good leaders. Keyboard creative technologists. So then I asked it for a text message for Justin and then put it in there. But you can say like write a text message from your name to collaborator's name. Write a text message from Alex Todd to Carlos Perez about an exciting collaboration. Okay, let me know if this sounds like something you would say, Alex. Hey, Carlos, Alex Todd here. I've been thinking about your work on pattern languages for AI and could pair perfectly with some behavior analytics experiments I'm running. I love to jam on a collaboration idea that could really push the frontier. Got time to connect this week?
It's
All
pretty
right.
cool. I don't know if I phrase it that way, but yeah, why not?
Very nice. So yeah, so I put that link in the chat if anybody wants to reach out to people. Also, like right now could be a good time if people want to connect on LinkedIn or connect on WhatsApp. So we have the WhatsApp community. I'm assuming everybody is in there except maybe not Mark Fishburne since he's new. But in the WhatsApp community, you're able to look at the members list. You can find people's phone numbers and connect with them.
Yeah, please, yeah, please have me. Thanks.
All right,
By the way, if I
here.
receive this message, I would think, oh, AI wrote this.
Yeah. Well, all right. Write it in a way that is undetectable to be AI. Make it sound human
Less exciting.
and less intelligent. That's the secret. So Mark, in the chat, I just put a link to the WhatsApp group.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Hey Carlos, it's Alex. Been thinking, your pattern language stuff is really cool. I'm messing around with some behavior tracking ideas, and I think we could build something awesome if we team up. You free to chat sometime this week? Does that sound like AI? I don't know who
Yep.
wants to vote.
Oh,
Yep.
it's good.
I think it's better.
Yeah.
All
One
right.
dead giveaway that it's AI is the long hyphen. There's no keyboard input that does that, so that's one easy way to detect that it's AI.
You can copy paste,
Yeah.
like select copy.
But there's no. I don't think there's necessarily everybody's using AI for everything, and so if we get, yes, sometimes it's not your words, it's not the way you would express yourself, and clearly it seems artificial. So I agree with that. You should avoid that. But comments like this one about the long hyphen, I don't know if that really matters anymore. Everybody's using AI for everything. So as long as the message is not offensive, it doesn't put you off in any way, as long as it's communicates what you want, it's relevant. should be okay. I wouldn't be over to, I don't think people should hide that much from the fact that they're using AI.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Could you, David, could you have it respond?
Oh,
Or
Yeah.
yeah. Respond, Carlo. Right, Carlos says respond. A
yeah,
response.
respond. Yeah, just respond to me.
All right, here's a natural human feeling response. Carlos, my son back. Hey, Alex, thanks, man. That sounds super interesting. I'm definitely down to chat. I'm pretty open this week. When works for you?
So we'll just have AIs talking to AIs in the future.
But
Yeah,
And then
I mean,
once we get it resolved, then
with
we'll
enough information in this collaboration advisor, we can just have like our agents talk to each other and then like work out and just do all the collaborations and all the work for us.
Right. Send the information about a meeting they took.
yeah. And yeah, in the end, if it works out, they set up the meeting.
I wanted to jump in here real fast on the AI versus your voice. I mean, we're not far away, but soon, I mean, you already can train it, GPT to recognize your style, upload a bunch of your emails, and it will write really close to how you write, speak. If you were worried about it sounding too AI. Yeah. So
At work, we have a writing guide for all of our work products, and yeah, we train custom GPTs to use it exactly. It's pretty indistinguishable from what a junior analyst would put out. It's pretty cool.
The agreement I have with my magazine is never to use AI to generate the articles, but maybe I'll test it out to see if you can tell.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, definitely do it. It's gonna speed up a lot. Like one thing that I suggested to one of my friends is she wrote a screenplay for a movie, a film she wants to create. And then I suggested that she should go through the screenplay and then copy paste it scene by scene and transform it into a novel version. So then that way she could start publishing and selling the novel even before the film starts getting produced.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about how like a piece of content like that, like a screenplay, can be like a seed, and then you can create a bunch of derivative content. So you want your seed to be as valuable as possible, and then from that seed, you can create a novel, you can create an album, you can create memes, you can create a comic book. Just figure out like what is that golden seed that you want to work with, and then you can expand that into a media empire.
I
All right, here.
heard something about, I'll chime in there too,
Yeah.
is create one good piece of content a week, and then like you just said there, so your seed could be your main content, and then you can break that up and chop it up and recreate it into almost endless content.
Yeah, it's definitely infinite. So here's a behavior patterns playbook that came out of a collaboration between Carlos and Alex Todd. Uh, so I hope you guys enjoy that book. These notes honestly seem like pretty good. I especially I liked that behavior patterns playbook idea that blends Carlos's frameworks with Alex's data models.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? What is it?
Yeah. Oh, what's the playbook?
Yeah, playbook.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so the behavior patterns playbook, it's a lightweight, actionable toolkit designed to help builders, designers, and AI developers map, predict, and influence user behavior more effectively. By combining structured pattern languages with behavior tracking models, this playbook will give teams a clear modular system to design more adaptive, human-centered AI applications.
Wow. Sounds impressive.
Pretty good.
It is impressive.
Sounds very useful.
It honestly does, yeah. I love it.
Better than me.
So that's available from the website?
I put a link in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Available for $30.
Oh, yeah. Carlos, you sell a lot of stuff on Gumroad?
Yeah, I use Gumroad. It's convenient. But it takes a 10%. It costs 10%, right? So if you want, yeah. But I just use it because it's convenient, right? So I do use it for any basically digital goods, right? Books essentially, right? I don't know if people read the books nowadays. I have it I have it delivered in PDF form, and I also have it accompanied with a GPT. So they don't have to read the book. They can just talk to the GPT to figure out what the book is about. I don't expect them to read the book. So yeah, so a lot of the books are kind of like recipe books, like these pattern books, right? So no one really wants to read a recipe book, but you want to ask it for recipes. So they all come with GPTs. All right, so you can and I use the GPTs myself to basically analyze different kind of prompts out there, right? So like sometimes they figure out how, say, Manus or Cursor or whatever is doing the prompting, so they actually extract the prompts. I take those prompts, okay, have it run through my GPT to analyze it, so I can basically mine for new patterns, right? And then I take those patterns and then put it back into the book. So the book is kind of like a knowledge base of prompting patterns.
And yeah, I'm interested to know like more about like how many sales are you getting on Gumroad? Is this something that's like generating a good amount of revenue for you?
Nothing that you can live on. Yeah, I think the main issue is really is not the platform that's making the sales. It's really the how you're getting your marketing it out to the world, right? So I think that's where the big bottleneck is. Yeah, I haven't even made the effort to actually put these things in Amazon. I figure if I put it in Amazon as what do you call that, Kindle, um it might, I'll get a little bit more revenue. uh but the book itself, yeah, so the books themselves, some of them I have in books, I mean in yeah, the physical book form, right? But I don't sell it through Amazon. Yeah, so Amazon's got something fishy going on with in terms of book sales. I believe some people just generate counterfeit copies and just sell it as used books, because I don't see any revenue in terms of books themselves. So it's really better if
Okay.
you just ship it out digital. At least you have control of the distribution.
Yeah, cool. That makes sense. Thanks for sharing that. That could potentially be an interesting like automation to build. Like how could we create an automated sales engine for Carlos's books? Some other ideas that we could build: an English onboarding funnel for Miguel, functional med intake for Dr. Shabnam, longevity CRM loop, AI readiness engine, AI audit for SMBs. Which of these would you love to see built live? Do you have any automation idea that you'd like to submit for Patrick to consider next week? And we have 9 minutes left, so there's like I want to maybe just do this for like a few minutes if people have ideas or things that came out of this call, and also more broadly like. Actually, no, let's focus on just like things that we could do next week when Patrick is here. And then for the last 5 minutes, we'll go back into seeing if there's volunteers to own one of the days. But so yeah, so first, yeah, what do you guys think about like what projects or what automations would you really like to see us build out next week?
I'm not sure if it's for next week, but I've been thinking about, the world of white papers and guidance documents and so on seems to me almost a thing of the past, that people don't have the time to actually personalize it. And I just wonder how we can use AI to actually create sound bites almost, or to help people with implementation. Because I think no one is going to read a three to 5,000 word guidance document or white paper anymore. And I think this whole world of how to communicate ideas and have people either implement themselves or have consultants implement them for you, is something that I've been considering and wondering what the best way to do it is. Is it writing software? Is it AI? And I don't know if others have had the same thoughts.
Yeah, like for myself, I don't even watch YouTube videos. I just take the YouTube video and bring it into Notebook LM and have it summarized, and then just look at the summary, and then I move on to the next one. Or papers, I did the same thing. Just put a notebook LM, have it summarized, and
Yeah.
so I think we're moving to the world where no one reads the original content. You would essentially be seeding it with something else, and it would generate the content, and no one reads that. They would have an AI summarize it, and then
Yeah.
somehow
You can
within
think
just
about like the Pareto principle, I think, like the 20% most relevant information. And that is gonna like change for each individual. So if you're the one that's like creating the white paper with like 10,000 words, that's like your seed of information. And then you have the AI, that's the interface that connects the most valuable information from that body of work to the individual's life. So the content consumption is more individualized. So like if you write a white paper about some broad topic, but then I'm mostly interested in like music, I don't know, then it would just give me like the 10% of what you shared that's relevant to the music industry, for example.
Yeah, I mean, the trouble with traditional generative AI, you can't ask questions about what you don't know that you don't know. So it
Yeah.
needs to be something proactive.
Yeah, that makes sense. Alex Todd, I saw you had your hand up earlier.
Yeah, I was going to say that I agree with Mark. More and more we're just summarizing everything. I'll give you a few examples. I have a plugin for my for a Chrome plugin for YouTube, and it summarizes the YouTube videos just dynamically clicking a button. I have for all our interns, our developers, and new people, we have a whole new cohort of interns coming on to the team to take over certain projects because the previous cohort is just ending. Rather than having them read mountains of documentation and the code bases that we have, I have custom GPTs for them to, in addition to the documentation, links to all the documentation and the code base in GitHub, we have custom GPTs. They can just query the custom GPTs. So to your point, and to your point to David about having a generic white paper, I think it's a really interesting idea that if you could provide, I'm just wondering whether if you took a generic white paper and as a user, so in other words, you receive the white paper and then you feed it to AI and say, hey, why is this relevant for me? Okay, or how is this relevant for me? Whether with its ChatGPT's memory feature, it would know all about you and what you're interested in and could automatically just make it relevant for you. That's
Yeah.
another option.
Yeah, that makes sense. An idea, super relevant idea to this is like you create like a big book, and Carlos has done this. You create like a big book and you put it into a custom GPT. So then when instead of like sending people to your book or to your white paper, you send them to the custom GPT that has access to the book or white paper, and then they can ask that question, what's most relevant to me. So like I created one of these for my company, Exponential Enlightenment. And so it's like a 20 chapter book that goes through like all the values and principles and also like target audiences and the different products and offerings and stuff like that and goes into depth into all of it. And then from there, having a custom GPT where collaborators and clients and partners can just interface with that directly to get the most relevant information based on who they are, and also ChatGPT's memory is that's an interesting point as well. Connie, you have your hand raised? Oh, not anymore.
There we
Oh,
go.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm in the process of actually doing that with I do those ISO audits, and so depending if the manufacturing shop is a machine shop or medical manufacturing, I kind of tap into my expertise, which is different depending on the type of industry and parts. So I'm in the process of taking all those ISO standards and automating them so that they're going to be standard templates that we can create AI agent to define, whether they're making machine parts versus medical parts. So I'm right in the process of breaking that out and figuring out how to do that so I can streamline it. And then ideally not charge as much as consultants normally do, and then just have it more like a service where people can go in and pay for this and automate as much as I can.
Yeah, I want to comment about taking your notes or your books and using GPT. Yeah, the GPTs, the one that from OpenAI, are actually pretty good at taking a lot of information and having it used within the chat. So yeah, so it's important. Like when you write a book, you try to have it all coherent. You're basically creating this massive several chapter kind of information source that is coherent in some way. So I have many books that are in GPT, and I use those to frame different content into that framing. So it's important. That's why I don't really like the idea of this memory thing that just remembers everything about you, because when you frame something, you want it within a certain context, and you want to have that very clean. So it's probably a good idea to have your ideas into many GPTs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
That's
is
good
also a
advice.
good
Yeah.
way to empower
Sorry.
people. I have a really short idea, which is like you put your book in there, and then if you have like a marketing team or something like that, your interns can easily use that custom GPT and then create all the derivative content for you, like little posts and stuff. And then it's all written in like a consistent voice because it's all coming from the same custom GPT that's trained on the same information.
Yeah, I'd have a comment. I just think that books are out of date before you publish them. And we're not in that world anymore. Things change dynamically. There are, 7,000 stories on cybersecurity every month. Everything changes so fast, and I think we need to find a way of creating that interactive, dynamic, informative, and transformative work. That makes sense. I don't know what
All
it is.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's a whole new world, and we have just 1 minute left here in this call. If you guys want to continue the conversation, I can assign someone as host. You can also go into the WhatsApp chat if you want to talk about different things. Thank you all for joining me today. We're going to need people to like take ownership over those meetings in the summer, but we have like about a month to figure that all out. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, thank you all for joining. Oh, and yeah, so also, yeah, in the WhatsApp, if you have a specific idea, you can submit it there, a problem or idea to build out on the call. I think an interesting one that stood out to me from this conversation could be like a information summarization flow. So some kind of like agent that's in charge of like learning from a bunch of documents and YouTube videos. That's kind of what Notebook LM does, but I don't know if you could somehow set up an AI agent that like does it automatically in a way that's like then communicating with you just key insights each day or at a certain time, or like automatically sending you a text message or an email address that's like, here's some new information from the past week, or I don't know. Um, Something like that. So that's what's standing out to me from the call. But yeah, any last words, one word to describe how you're feeling as you leave today's call? Yeah, go ahead. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, David. Good job. Bye,
Yeah,
everybody.
thank you.
Bye.
Very good.